Aisha Sanders. I am 35 years old. I am single. I have no children. I'm using this experience to welcome as many people into my life who want to get to know me and allow me to get to know them as well. I love positivity. I love enthusiasm, and I always want to do something that I've never done before. So if that's you, I hope that you will take the next step and make it a way to get in touch with me as soon as possible. Okay, bye.
Okay, see, that was pleasant. It wasn't super freaky like the other people we done came across. I wonder what she went to prison for. Okay, let me see here. Aisha Sanders. Where's she? In Ohio, right? Woman sentenced in grandmother's beating death. What? 2 counts of aggravated murder. 2 counts of aggravated robbery. 1 count of tampering with evidence. She beat her 86-year-old grandmother to death with a frying pan. Sold her grandmother's television to use for drug money. She's a demon. She's a demon. And y'all talking about, oh, you can fix her. You see? That's how people get caught up, bruh. That's how people get caught up, bruh.
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers.
Police! Help! Help! Police! Help!
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the...
Again with the inmate.
Hi, my name is Aisha Sanders. I am 35 years old. I am single. I have no children. I'm using this experience to welcome as many people into my life who want to get to know me and allow me to get to know them as well. I love positivity. I love enthusiasm, and I always want to do something that I've never done before. So if that's you, I hope that you will take the next step and make it a way to get in touch with me as soon as possible. Okay, bye.
Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKodash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders. Here, great millstone, peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So, like as the brother titled the video, the short, says, you see her beauty, but not her intentions. Look deeper. Don't just fall for a pretty face and body. Yeah, that'll be the good video. That'll be the point of this video, because the scriptures talk about not being deceived by the beauty of a woman, and that's advice, and brothers need to learn out in this truth. I mean, out in this world, and if you call yourself in this truth, because the scriptures don't hold any punches when it comes to these women. Just gonna tell you flat out what the deal is, and this is a good example. I mean, I guess there's ways for people to, marry people that's in prison or whatever. So that woman there looks like there's ways for them to communicate with the outside world, and I guess even get married or whatever the case is. And so people are trying to find ways to get it, and reverse too, right? Because you got women trying to get with men in the prison and all that's going on. But the point is that, as the scripture says, you don't want to just look on the outward appearance and then just think like, okay, that's all I need to know. This woman here is a gem. I got a good one. Look at how sweet she is. Look at how nice, pretty her face is. Look at how polite she is. Yeah, but if you could actually see the skeletons in her closet, it'll change your whole perception. Like that woman there beating her grandmother to death with a frying pan. With a frying pan? Bro. And then selling her possessions for drug money. A lot of people don't realize is, you got something called basically women are high functional psychopaths, high level functional psychopaths. You know how you got these guys, who are like cannibals, and they go on killing sprees and eating people and all these things. And when they catch them, they don't have this look of being crazy. Some of them don't have a look of being crazy. They actually look like regular people, which is how they able to disguise themselves in the society. Because for them, doing that, like eating people or serial murdering people and chopping them up and eating them and things like that, for them, that's their high. It's like that to them. That's like sex. So they don't feel bad about the shit they do because they like shit. They got demons on them, and the demons are saying, the demons are allowing them to do the evil and still just walk around like there's nothing bothering. Now, if you have a conscience, you're gonna always be over looking over your shoulder. You're gonna always, it's gonna kind of show, right? But if you are a demon, if you got demons on you, a legion of demons on you, or you are a functional psychopath, as they would say, you could just function in society like there was nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can't go off looks. Okay, that's for both men and women. But women, okay, scriptures tell you the wickedness that women are capable of. And as a man, you would never be able to actually understand. You wouldn't even be able to match the wickedness that women are capable of because women are able to go beyond barriers that most men can't. That's why Satan uses the woman, because especially in this society, because Esau Edom, he can't. If there's one place he can bypass, he can't. He bypasses your defenses by sending a woman, you having a wife or whatever it is, because Esau can't get in your bedroom. He can't get you weak, and he can't get you to in that weak moment where you will, pillow talk and say all your secrets. Only a woman's able to do that. So that's why the wickedness of a woman will always, outdo the wickedness of a man. So this Proverbs 30:18. It says, "There be three things which are too wonderful for me, yea, four which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon the rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness." So just like what women are capable of doing, women are capable of committing adultery, right? And still walk around saying, I ain't doing anything wrong. That's why men, it crushed their soul when they hear about the things that, when they find out their women been doing all kind of things behind them, and they're just blown away. They're like, man, how long? What the hell? How could you do that? Because to them it's nothing. It's nothing to them. It's nothing to a woman to do evil. Like I said, they're like functional psychopaths. So, you meet them and you think, oh, she seemed like a nice woman or whatever it is, and then you find out later the woman's a damn demon, which is why the scriptures tell you not to be deceived by the appearance, because they'll do wickedness, and to them it's nothing. It's nothing. Like it's nothing to them. Like that's what he means, because you're trying to understand, how could you do something like this, or how could you do something like that and still just walk around with a pretty face and being polite and basically acting like there's nothing. Basically, your demeanor doesn't show of the evil that you either have done or what you're capable of. That's why you have to have really the Lord to help you, because deception is a woman's strength too. You got to remember. Okay, what's Satan's strength? One of his strengths is what? Deception. Okay, camouflage. It's the same with women. And you have to be careful, because what? They know exactly what you want. They know how to reel men in. They know how to get a man, let his guard down. And they know how to do that because men are weak for women. And if they don't have their wits about them, they could fall victim. Which is why Ecclesiastes 7:26 says, "And I find more bitter than death, the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her." So when King Solomon was examining the reason of man and basically how everything functions, he found more bitter than death a woman whose heart is snares and nets. Why? Because she's more than likely going to have success. Because men are deceived by women, and women are able to commit iniquity beyond a man's comprehension. And it says that whoso please Yahweh shall escape her. So you always need that help from on high, and you always got to keep the scriptures in mind, and you just can't go off of the carnality. That's how women have success in what they're doing now, because they understand that for the most part, men out here just go off of their carnal, you could say, instincts and lust. That's how they're able to get as far as they are able to, right? But a lot of men think their wives are blameless. Look, a lot of men are raising children. A lot of men have children that they don't even know that it's not even theirs. And that's on a everyday occasion. That's normal out here, right? But the scriptures talk about a spirit of jealousies. So if the spirit of jealousy is having to come past a man, he might go and try to figure that out. But it still won't repair the damage that's done or that he's prepared for. You know, you had that one Edomite, or looks to be an Edomite. He's the older man, and he's saying that he realized after 40 years of marriage that because he had to go give some blood or something like that for his son, children, and come to find out he's not biologically his. So then he did the other two, and he not biologically theirs either. So his whole life, all three of his kids ain't none of them his. And there's also a story like that of a Benjaminite, his NFL player. I think he had a wife, 3 kids, ain't none of them his. And you know what he's looking, he's like, how could you deceive me and still pretend like everything's cool? Because women are wicked, man. They are, you got to remember, they are able to, it says what? They say, I have done no wickedness. They can do all this and still play wife to you and have you coddle a child. And she's like, yeah, there's a chance it's not even your child. You know, that's what they're able to do. That's why King Solomon said, I find more bitter than death, man. Sirach 9. All right. We'll just go to the point. Verse 6, we'll start at 5. It says, gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are prettiest in her. Let's look up that word prettiest. Looks like prettiest is just short for the word precious. Precious, right? So you know, and if a man desires a woman, you already know what he wants. Okay, so it says, gaze not on the maid, that thou fall not by those things that thou art prettiest in her. The looks, the body, whatever it is. It could be the accent, whatever it is. So like, say like in her case, she's a Jake. If I had to guess, I would say she's probably Simeon. Okay, and a lot of men will fall victim to, a lot of men desire lust after especially women of Simeon, like the Dominicans, because especially in America, because they see that they got the appearance, you know, of Southern. They got the skin, and then they got the long hair, and they got the accent. But when you do research, man, Dominican Republic is high in diseases, especially the high 5, because those women down there, which it don't make sense to me, but men go down there just to pay for it. It don't make sense to me, you know, prostitution or whatever. But they'll go down there because men want to get the best that they can get. They have no idea those women are just high level. They're just professional prostitutes, man. They're just running a game. And the stories that's being brought out is saying that they are all intentionally just passing stuff along because they don't care. And the one Jake was like, when he went, he was just so flabbergasted how easy it was. He was talking about, these beautiful women just throwing that at him. And he even knew, he like, nah, if it's that easy, something's off. Yeah, but because Jake is a lot of people are deceived just by looks and appearance alone, and they just going off looks. I want that because it looks good. Well, the scripture's telling you don't do that. Don't just go off your looks like that. Scriptures talk about vetting and talk about observing, using your spiritual eye. Because if you're led by the carnality, you will fall victim, just like every other man that falls victim. Look, there's more men in the grave behind women than the bubonic plague. And that's what the scriptures reveal to you. It goes on. Verse 6, it says, give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. Look not around about thee in the streets of the city, neither wander thou in the solitary places thereof. Yeah, so stop. Yeah, don't just be walking around. You just looking for anything. I'm get anything because you're gonna fall victim. You know, there's always talk about predators, like they'll say like men are the predators or whatever. Actually, you know, both can be predators. I'm not saying men can be predators, but the real predators are women. You know, that's the secret. And they're successful. Look, King Solomon just told you. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you something else. Nine times out of 10, the woman you got, you probably thinking, yeah, I met this shorty. So when I saw her, I just knew I had to get her. So I had to make a move on. Chances are she already spotted you out a long time ago, and she put herself in a position for you to let your lust lead you to come right on over, and then it went there. So basically, she gave you the impression that you made the first move, but really she already did. They're the superior predators. Okay, men can be predators too. You know, that's how a lot of women fall victim to a lot of guys that just run a game. But the real predators are women. And what do you think they do when they step outside with them clothes on, them short shorts and all that? They praying. They're literally just going out baiting, and it's all bait. And if you agree that if what she's wearing, how she's presenting herself, and she's giving you a little look, and she's showing you something, if you would agree that all that is bait, then you're not the one fishing. But it goes on. It says, turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman. Look not upon another's beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, and herewith love is kindled as a fire. So many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. Scripture says beauty is vain. And just look around. The Lord is very generous when it comes to good looks. And women know how to make themselves look good. They ain't got to have the best features, but really if they just carry themselves all right, they gonna always be able to get somebody or something. They know that. They also have the power of makeup, which is just another form of deception. That's why it's called mask. Right? If there's one thing a woman knows how to do is deck the outside real well, because most men just are led by that alone. But if you're a spiritual man, if you're a man of understanding and wisdom, one of the first things you realize is like beauty is vain. Just because a woman look good don't mean nothing. All right, you could fall victim to a woman like that. Aisha is her name. Oh, she doesn't look that bad. Yeah, you look her up. Come on, man. Beat your own grandmother to death with a frying pan? And then sell her belongings? Crazy, man. Okay, there was one more. Oh, yes. Sirach 42. Okay. For that, Sirach 25. Verse 19. It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So you see, all wickedness is little to the wickedness of a woman, because what women are capable of is more heinous than what a man is capable of. Right? And it says, well, let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So the Lord will use a wicked woman as judgment. And there's a lot of judgment for a lot of men out here. Hey, like that guy Sawnetta, man, he used to talk so much stuff about the Lord and speak evil about the Lord. I just knew the Lord was going to get him, and the Lord did get him. And one way he got him was that he gave him that evil ass wife. And she's Simeonite, which they both Simeonite, but that's what he get. You know, now he's that's judgment from the Lord. But that guy probably just thought, oh, I'm a player. Shoot, she want me. Yeah, you just fell right into the trap. And now you attached to that damn demon. See, that's judgment from the Lord. The Lord has ways to get you judgment. He ain't got to always just take you out now. Sometimes just giving you a wicked woman is punishment enough. And man, what the scripture say, the men in the scripture says, look, basically, I'd rather get any other judgment than that. Because in that same chapter I read up, he said, I'd rather deal in the house with a lion than the wicked woman. See what I'm saying? Because that's some judgment. This is Sirach 42. 12. Behold not everybody's beauty, and sit not in the midst of women, for from garments cometh the moth, and from women wickedness. Here's the point I want. It says, better is the churlishness of a man than a courteous woman. A woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach. So this is the New Revised King James Version, same verse. Start at 12. Says, do not let her parade her beauty before any man, or spend her time among married women. Yeah, you definitely don't want that. That's why it's advised women who are married, really the only people or friends you can say of women, they're supposed to have other women who married. Because women who single, as they say, women keep other women single. You know what I'm saying? So even the friend group, you got to be mindful of the friend group. Who you hanging around? I don't really like that woman. Why she ain't got no husband? I think she'd be a bad influence. Yeah. Because that woman will influence your wife to basically throw upside your marriage. And it all goes back to a damn woman who's bitter or wicked, maybe because she's single and she wanted to bring her other man single. She'll ruin your marriage, right? By way of using your woman, getting in their ear and all that. So you got to be mindful of that too. Got to be mindful of that too. Verse 13, it says, for from garments cometh the moth, and from a woman comes woman's wickedness. And we just read about a woman's wickedness. All little, but all little, okay? It says, better is the wickedness of a man than a woman who does good. It is a woman who brings shame and disgrace. You see that? Is because you could be deceived by a woman. Okay, and women can bring shame and disgrace and approach. Like, can use an example, that Cassie chick with the Puff Daddy thing, her whole thing. Is she just some regular old hoe? Yes, she is. But look who suffers for it, right? She did all her wickedness that she wanted to do. But who bears the shame and reproach? The husband and the kids. So now the husband is going to be forever looked at as the sucker. He's going to ever be looked at as the village clown, because he married the village bicycle. And the children are going to suffer it all their days. So they got 2 children, a third one on the way. Now all of her kids are going to always be in school. They're going to be mocked. They're going to be laughed at, because they're going to say, your mother this, your mother is that. You know, probably call it, your mother is a pee mouth, whatever it is they're going to say. The children, everybody suffers because of the because of the how do you say the harlotry of the mother's rudeness. That's why the scripture says, let's see. I gotta find it. Let me see. All right, it's Sirach 3, verse 9. It says, "For the blessing of the father establish the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations." So you see, the scriptures basically break down to you the truth of the matter. So don't be deceived by a woman's beauty. Don't just go off of her looks and that's just it. You have to really, you need the Lord. You need to pray to the Lord for protection. So if something doesn't work out with the woman, or one just happens to slip your grasp, count it as a blessing, because the Lord is able to, the Lord sees what you can't see. You know, every man wants the most beautiful looking woman and, you know, all these things, and a soft woman, a quiet woman, a woman who got a, you know, gentle speak and all those things. But you got to remember, women are capable of putting on that mask just to reel in people, and the Lord sees beyond you so he can sift them out. But at the same time, he's giving you the scriptures to look for, so you got to also use your wits about you as well. If you see the signs, right, you better take heed, you know, because otherwise you're just going to give yourself over to fall victim, like most men out here fall victim. So the difference is you got the truth, so use the truth, use it wisely. Shalom.